for this hearing today, Mr. Chair, and I yield back.
Thank you very much, Senator Kane. Next is Senator Johnson, followed by Senator Van Hollen, and then Senator Braun.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll start again as I normally do in these hearings. I'm not a climate change denier. I'm just not an alarmist. Climate has always changed, always will. We'll have to adapt. Let me start asking any of the witnesses. Anybody know how much the sea level has increased in the Bay of San Francisco since the last glaciation period, 12 to 20,000 years ago? Anybody? Mr. Dwyer, you're concerned about 18 inches, undeniable. Anyone take a guess? 390 feet. Do you think there's anything we could have done to prevent the sea level rising 390 feet over the last, let's say, 20,000 years? The answer to that is no, okay? The Vostok ice core sample shows 5 pretty distinct cycles of temperature variation of almost 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything we could have done to stop that? Anybody know how much we've spent globally on trying to turn back the tides to prevent climate change? Anybody have an estimate of that? We had a witness from AEI estimate about $5 trillion. This is before the Inflation Reduction Act that claims about $400 billion. Goldman Sachs says really about 1.2. So let's say it's $6 trillion of spending globally trying to combat climate change. Have we impacted climate change at all? Yeah, I still see the same level of hair on fire alarmism. Got to spend more money. To what effect?
Senator, as a veteran of nearly 200 combat missions and over 1,000 carrier landings in high-performance jets, I have never been accused of being an alarmist. I have been accused of being very analytical, data-driven, and I think that
you didn't know that the sea level had risen 390 feet. Don't you think that's an important data point when you're assessing climate change?
It isn't in the human lifespan as important.
But the human lifespan, we're a blip in these major geologic trends. We're a blip. Now, you can blow up that blip and turn to an alarmism. Admiral Gwynn, let me ask you a question. You're into business now, right?
Yes.
What kind of business are you in?
I'm in the business of energy, environment, and economy.
And what does that business do?
Well, basically, taking a look at the opportunities that we have to transition from our energy portfolio, which is primarily and has for good reasons been relying on fossil fuel.
Who are your clients?
I'm not going to share those right now because of non-disclosure.
Is it safe to say it's a lot, maybe Defense Department and the government?
No, it's not. No.
Would you say that your opportunities spring from the fact that we have a climate change crisis on our hands, creating opportunities for your business?
It's not an opportunity that springs from climate change. It's an opportunity to increase economic development and create jobs.
So we've talked a lot about studies, right? Anybody read the Wall Street Journal article today about a publisher named Wiley? Been around for 217 years, is shutting down 19 journals because over the last 2 years they've had to retract 11,300 fraudulent research studies. Has anybody listened to President Eisenhower's farewell address recently? Not only did he warn us about the military-industrial complex, which we have not heeded that warning at all. Second warning was he warned us about public government financing of science and research, implying that if government's funding research, those scientists are going to be more concerned about getting a research grant, turning a crisis into an opportunity, and that would corrupt science. We've known about fraudulent research studies now for decades. We just haven't talked about it. We've ignored it. We've covered it up. But I would argue fraudulent research is probably fueling more of the climate alarmism, creating opportunities, than anything else. I'm just not buying the science. When you take a look at actual science, like 390 feet sea level rise, like the Vostok ice core sample, do you realize that CO2 in those Vostok ice core graphs is a lagging indicator. Temperature rises first, then CO2 comes later. Did anybody realize that? Admiral, did you want to comment on that? You're a PhD on this.
I do want to comment on that, Senator Johnson. Thank you. I think it is true that there is a bias in the media and some scientific journals towards negative reporting of climate change impacts. You never believe this if you, in view of the administration's trove of climate directives, but many climate indices related to human and society well-being have been on an upward trend for the last 50 years, despite the 1.3 degrees Celsius of warming that's occurred. And this is things like crop yields and calories per individual. And these are global statistics you can go find on our World in Data. Things like death rates due to national disasters, the incidences of diseases related to climate like malaria, those are going down. Malnutrition and famine, those trends are also going down. And then extreme poverty throughout the world has also plummeted. So there's a lot of positive results of technology and our energy posture, frankly. And right now there are 3 billion people who are in an energy poverty status. I encourage everyone to look up the Breakthrough Institute and see the recent article by Dr. Patrick Brown on this topic.
My final comment, just imagine the human suffering we could have alleviated spending $5 to $6 trillion trying to alleviate that rather than hold back the tides, which we won't be able to do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just for the record, the last time that I can recall